Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Ryan LaPlante as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra as Eli Sharp, and Della Borovic as Morgan Rawls. My report shows that the Inquisitorial band is continuing preparations for the hunt. Valentyne sent Toby to collect his weapons as Attikus dressed for the hunt. Eli picked up Morgan and relayed the Inquisitor's orders, and Morgan tried to bribe the King's chief Warden. What will happen now that they've resorted to violence and security is closing in? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
From the Warden's Manual. There will be times when people attempt to sneak new things into your ecosystem, and the question you must ask yourself as Warden is, will this help or hurt the ecosystem? Footnote. More importantly, will it help or hurt the King's amusement? These are the questions you will have to consider. Best of luck in your chosen career path. You're gonna be great. Alarms are blaring as the Warden's staff sort of like pulling around the command station, and it won't be long before security is up here with you. The Warden himself has...
Wait, hang on. Are these people outside the room, or are they inside with us?
There's people, like, converging, but, like, literally he just yelled, help, help. People weren't, like, standing at the doors ready, so they're converging on the room.
Yes, how Morgan's instinct in this is like flee. So I'm just thinking, how far are we from the carriage that Eli brought? And then,
well,
is there any other door into this room?
I did describe that this was up on the wall as a sort of a central structure overlooking. So there's one of those fun kind of back and forth fire escape style stairwells all the way down. Mm-hmm. You guys were brought up in an elevator, or there is the reserve if you want to jump off the wall into and try and disappear into the reserve itself.
But the carriage is not on that side.
Carriage is parked out front.
We need to get back to the carriage if possible. So that's what Morgan is thinking. If we turn back around and look out the door, I think just a parting to the head warden is just, excuse us, we will be leaving, and then turning on her heel and you're going to try to get back down to our carriage as fast as possible. I think that's where Morgan's head is at.
Okay.
Before more people come to arrest us.
Great. So he's just holding his jaw. I mean, you hit him in the head, not the jaw.
His temple. I think
It's up to you. I mean, wherever you want me to have hit him.
In general, just yelling like, help, into his headset. So Morgan and Eli, you immediately like turn around, you book it across the bougie carpet, which is a little slippery, not great. Throw open the door and are immediately just slammed with people who are running up those stairs.
All right, Eli would just like to yell. It's like the attacker fled into the preserve. The attacker fled into the preserve. He was dressed like one of you.
And the warden will be like, no, he didn't. It's them. Arrest them. I need the most difficult deception roll you have ever rolled. He's just in the room. He can talk.
Oh, I thought he was further away.
No, you guys left. It's like, I think...
He turned around and went out the door.
You went out the door, and then they were there. So you were just outside the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
To be fair, I appreciate
it was a great call, but he was not asleep.
I didn't think that he... Okay. I had a misunderstanding of what it looked like.
You don't need to roll this then, but I feel like you could also just luck out.
I was going to say, do you want to go back and just set up what you would do when you came out of the room?
No, let's just go with it.
So this is difficulty 5.
We're fine by the suite of pants.
Yep.
There is an episode title I want so bad. The suite of the pants.
It truly is that right now.
If you're wondering how fucking stressed Laura and Del were over the break,
We were.
It is very stressful.
We had to have stress hug.
We did, yes. We're in this together.
All right, so not to add to that, 5 difficulty.
Yeah. What am I rolling? Deception?
Deception.
How many people
That's
are
a laugh
here?
of
How many
confidence,
guards?
folks.
Like a bunch.
How many is a bunch?
There are 6 coming up the fire escape. There's like people coming along the parapet wall to come into the office, and there are jeeps pulling up around the base that people are hopping out of.
What's the ceiling in this hallway like?
You've stepped out of because there's no hallways, literally like office into fire escape. So you're standing on the edge of the wall, top of a fire escape. People have just come rushing up the fire escape.
For the sake of visuals, this is like a raised ranger station style thing.
This is if you had like a giant concrete wall around, like think Jurassic Park, like if you had a giant wall around a nature preserve and you have an office at the top of that overlooks it, it's that. So not quite a ranger station.
Okay, but where they like go up to see like the raptor enclosure where they look down and see it like fenced in,
so
only it's miles.
It's like an office that has been attached to the top of the thing, and then there's small. Like a prison would actually be a good example too. There's little prison towers, but this is like a larger office. But it's not a complex structure. It's literally one giant room with the monitors and the giant screen to oversee everything. So not a lot of places to run other than out the sides, over the wall and in, or over the wall and out. You guys have gone out back towards the carriage, which is parked at the bottom of the stairs and elevator.
Right. Okay. See what happens for Eli.
I have nothing. I have no talents.
So that would mean you're just rolling on pure cunning.
That hurts.
You can spend the one remaining story point you have if you would like.
If you'd like to go
he didn't say the difficulty.
I mean, I
what's
have
the difficulty?
to.
Oh, okay, great. Oh, okay, I didn't hear it. I was in my brain.
I think I have to.
I don't
know if it's possible.
Here's the deal. If the story point won't save you, you might want to save it for if shit gets even worse.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly 3 threats.
See, that's not that bad.
It wasn't a failure.
It wasn't a success.
It wasn't a success.
But that was fucking miraculous.
Yeah. All right. So 3 threat. They grab you, but they don't like immediately tackle you to the ground and start beating you because they're like, wait a minute, what? And the warden is like, no, just my head. I think metal arms.
The warden is disoriented. You have to go after the escaped attacker.
And Morgan just puts her hands up. I'm certain we can sort all of this messy business out. But she's, after having visions of looking down the catwalk and thinking, if I try to rappel down there, but I have no bird, I have no equipment, it's just like, okay.
Great. So various wardens surround you, including the one you talk to, who's just like coming up the bottom of the stairs, looking up, just going like, duh, because she definitely like knew you guys were shady, but did trouble, anyway.
Yeah.
And just Morgan, as your as your hands are being roughly pulled behind you and secured, probably by zip tie, because
which
like they're
also super hurts. Because the other terrible thing about this hot weather is her back is so itchy.
Yeah.
She is just so cut up and having a bad time. It's just like
zip tie your hands, and as you're kind of forced to the ground as well, both of you can kind of see through the grate as wardens kind of like surround your carriage. Take the keys out, put a boot on
fine.
it. Like,
this is all fine.
Meanwhile,
going according to plan.
Attikus and Valentyne, you have dressed for the occasion. You just need to present yourselves at the hunting range. Also, no one here has slept. We already took our strain on this, but I really want to point out everyone is very tired. Yeah, you worked through the night. So, how do you want to deliver the Lord to the event?
This would be a carriage just to officially arrive. The only question he'd have for you is, my lord, for the hunt, do you wish to set off into the preserve on foot, or do you wish to ride Victrix towards? Sometimes in hunts they've allowed mounts for those who are hunting.
I believe Victrix can remain at home. I'd like to do this on foot.
Excellent choice, sir. I believe it's time for us to set off, if you are prepared.
Yes.
I'll check in with our mutual friends once we're on the road and see if we need to pick up our other mutual friend.
Very good.
Great.
So we go and load into the carriage, and then Valentyne just turns on his microbeat, and he's like, Captain Rules.
Am I on the ground? What's happening here?
Yeah, they're waiting for Royal Guard to show up. So presumably, like, timeline-wise, Royal Guard have probably arrived by the time they would call.
Yeah, I was going to say, because we would have left, like, you've had time to go, deal with this, get to the hunt, all that shit. So we left the house. You're already arrested.
Yeah.
So, Captain Rules?
I can't talk at all. I can't send a silent text message through my system.
I'll explain where you guys are in a second.
All right.
I was also say, a microbead is like an earpiece, so also they could take it if they wanted to. It's not built into the person.
Yeah. So they would have definitely done that. I was gonna say you're in a they've loaded you into the back of the paddy wagon situation now, so you're in custody of the King's Guard. But yeah, if microbeads aren't installed, they're removed.
They're a physical piece that you can take on and off.
Remove both of them.
Clarence. Well, and he'll go off and say, "My lord, apparently things have become complicated with our friends and perhaps our package. However, we need to go to the hunt to continue our ongoing work."
Do we have time to collect our package before the hunt?
There are a great many questions, one of which would be where in this theoretical journey our package has gone missing.
So we don't know exactly where it is.
Correct, sir.
Lovely. Well then?
There are two options, sir.
What?
We could continue on our way and pick up our mutual friend and continue about this hunt and resolve it afterwards. Or we continue on the way, pick up our mutual friend, convince him to become your aide on this quest, and then I go try to solve this problem. But I will not have your authority at this time, and it leaves you much more vulnerable in the field, which endangers the mission. No, we're not doing that one. Time to go to a hunt. What a gift we've been given. Some interesting challenges. I may have to talk to a space marine before I was entirely prepared to. What a gift. Fun day, yes, sir?
Yeah, Attikus is kind of like unnerved by watching Valentyne kind of go through this process as a character kind of thing. I'm just like,
yes, quite. So we carry on to the hunt.
Exactly.
That's
Sometimes
my choice.
Yes, our choice is to continue on to the hunt, picking up a friend who'll be hunting solo, and then we'll see what happened to our friends afterwards.
Yes.
Maybe they won't be our friends anymore.
Oh.
Don't trouble yourself, sir. Focus on the hunt. Today we need to win a duke's heart for the Emperor.
Yes, for the Emperor.
What's Attikus feeling behind that?
Oh, just like I've lost the plot. What? Is the Inquisitorial party dead?
Yep, fair.
Are they gone?
Gotcha. All right,
We got to go pick up Pajama Man from a ditch.
Yep,
for the Emperor.
Yeah.
All right, so you go off to pick up Pajama Man from the ditch. Meanwhile, Eli and Morgan, well, we've got you. You are being transported in, again, like one of the Royal Guard ships. No one has answered any of your questions. You've clearly been turned over by the wardens. You heard some talk that the carriage will be impounded, sort of as part of this investigation.
Okay.
There's no windows or anything on this vehicle. Obviously, it's locked. You don't know where you're going. What would you and Eli discuss anything en route to where you're going, or is this kind of a we don't know how fucked we are, so we kind of need to see how fucked we are kind of situation?
Yeah, it is big time. Morgan is constantly just trying to get as much information as possible. Like, I don't think she's perfect at figuring out exactly where they're going, but if there are stops, if there's any talk of any of the other guards, just trying to be a sponge for information.
Okay,
right
so
now.
you're in a this isn't like the back of a cop car situation. This is like a locked box.
Closed,
Yeah,
yes. But
yeah.
even just
There's
differences in the ground underneath us.
So you're Liam Neeson taking...
I'm trying
Yeah.
to. I don't know if I can, but that's the only thing it's not going to be useful to talk to Eli right now, in
Gotcha.
her opinion.
Eli would automatically be doing the same thing.
Yeah. So
Right.
we're just
So
trying
both doing
to
the Taken
wait.
2,
Yeah.
I should point
Yeah.
out, not the first one, the second one.
You're just memorizing the turns, estimating distances.
Gotcha. Okay. I can safely say that neither of you know this place well enough, and you're floating through the sky, so you get nothing from it. It feels nice. It
Well,
feels
that's
good to have
nice.
something to do.
Well,
It does.
is there anyone with us?
No, they're all up front.
Well, then fuck it. Eli's just going to close his eyes and...
Eli takes a nap.
Not just a mental nap.
A true space combat veteran.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do during transit. Sleep.
Yeah.
You can recover 1 non-social strain.
Cool. I had 2.
On little napskis. All right. So suddenly, not as long after as you would perhaps think, the vehicle shudders and comes to a landing. And the doors open at the back, and there's 2 guards with guns pointing inward. And one comes in and says, "You're Captain Varnes, right?"
Captain Varn, yes.
Yeah. You're a rogue trader. You're not from around here, right?
That's correct. It seems that we have caused quite a stir.
Yeah. You can stop talking now. Listen, you're coming with me. You there, sleepy guy. You're going to stay here for a few minutes. You don't cause any trouble, all right?
And Eli just nods. Curt nod.
You I like. Pulls you out, Morgan. Doors get slammed behind you. And you can see that you've been brought to what looks like almost like a chalet. Like it's just like a fancy lodge that is kind of near. I think with a quick scan, you can see that like the hunting preserve isn't too far away, or the hunting reserve isn't too far away. You're kind of just like up on it's artificial because there's no mountains here, but there's sort of almost an artificial platform overlooking all of it. And it is fancy as hell. You've basically landed on the equivalent of like a helipad on the side. And there are various guests and things who kind of turn and are a titter with the sight of you. And it is the fanciest fuckers on the planet that are kind of about. Not from any shame that you would feel, but you are going to take 2 points of social strain just from being perp walked out.
Okay.
Damage to reputation kind of thing.
Yeah, it's hard looking, because the thing is, if you came out of it looking like Morgan at the beginning of the adventure, I think everyone would be like, "Oh my god!" It's the hot mugshot thing where it's like, "Oh my god, she's so cool! Look at this!" But instead, you come out looking like
she's looking
sweaty, rough, bloody, like garbage because you've just had a rough ride. So it's a lot of like, it's less that you're being arrested, more that you look bad doing it. And so you're kind of like brushed past those people into the lodge. You can see it's a large, there's like a huge bar set up. There's a bunch of mounted heads. It's got kind of windows on all sides. Fancy people are kind of strewn about. There's a number of video screens that have been set up. Lots of like gun racks where like weapons have been placed, and like swords and like spears. Everyone is dressed in most folks are dressed in their sort of fanciest think like ski gear. So, well, I mean, summer, so no, it'd have to be lighter than that. They're all dressed in like light, almost Wimbledon, like if you're going to go watch Wimbledon gear. So it's a lot of white, and shorts and skirts and all that sort of stuff. But a few people are dressed in full hunter camo, like they are going on a hunt today. They are clearly not. It's a lot of like, this is what I wore 10 years ago, and it doesn't really fit anymore, but I feel cool. So many pith helmets as far as the eye can see. And you're brought past those into sort of, there's a large set of double doors with a guard on each side. And the doors open, and there's a large like Mr. Burns style office, so like a lot of red, giant like bear in one corner, a pair of stuffed Ehrlichs in combat in another corner, large table with tusks kind of at all 4 corners, behind which sits the king, who is in conversation with Forrest Pollard as you enter. And he just says, the captain, wonderful. Sorry, you'll have to excuse us. And Pollard just nods to him. And walking past you just gives you kind of an inscrutable look. But
Morgan's trying to not be ill.
But almost more as a... Yeah, you wouldn't pull anything because you're just trying not to be ill.
She's trying to not... She would not look back at him.
Yeah,
it
is like you just feel the shadow and the weight of him passing, and like the servos of the armor as he stomps past. And you hear the door shut behind him, and the guards kind of take up posts at either side of the door. They're not leaving you alone in here with him. But he says, please, Captain Varn, have a seat. He's got a couple of like much smaller, less comfortable chairs in front of his giant desk.
Great. She's going to nod. Her hands are still behind her back, and she's going to as smoothly as she can get over to that chair, give him a bow. I apologize for not being in my finery right now.
Oh, please. It's hunting day. Everyone here is in their dirty clothes. Like, you've just seen this, like, immaculate white, like, parade.
And she'll sit.
And he says, so I understand that you have been getting up to no good, specifically trying to bribe my warden.
Yes, I suppose you can consider your warden very loyal to you. He seemed to think I would ruin the day for you, and so he told me no.
Yeah, no, good for him, I guess. Listen, why are you trying to ruin the fun here, Captain?
That was his opinion. I thought that I could bring a little more spice to your day.
Spice to my day. So spice by letting yourself win. I mean, I gotta tell you, I mean, I know this is your first Celestial season. You are eating shit at this. I mean, you didn't arrive anywhere remotely close to, I mean, fucking Guinevere landed sooner than you did in that race. So like you're way behind there. You look like absolute garbage. Your second is also arrested, I guess. You're just, I mean, I don't know how you're planning on winning this thing. So what? You're failing, so you're going to cheat to win? That was the spice? The spice was someone who can't possibly win the competition is going to win. You know, that just means this is a waste for me, right? Like, you're not going to win, so why ruin it for everyone else?
I did not mean to ruin anything. And yes, perhaps winning is out of my hands. But I thought that someone who is here just to do things differently might perk your interest.
So he comes over around in front of the desk and he just like hops up on it and starts kind of kicking his legs. And he's like, all right, okay, so you're saying you're going to add some spice to the day. I trust that isn't just like a dead Ehrlich or a wounded Ehrlich, right? You're not...
No, that is typical. And it would be much better fresh kill of an Ehrlich.
And he starts to grin. Can you roll me probably a charm?
It's going to go poorly for me, but sure.
Well, what skill do you think? What do you want to make a case for here? Because I feel like
I don't even know how to play this situation as her. It's like, it's true. It's not a dead Ehrlich. So I'm going to lean doing this straight with him because if he catches me in a super lie, it could go poorly. And if I'm just like, sure, I'm a mess. Here's what it is. Then who knows? But
great.
So I'll do charm. And difficulty?
Difficulty of 3. Mm-hmm. Get a boost for the circumstance.
Okay.
You get a setback for how badly you're doing the competition. He is serious about that.
Yeah, he did like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is all the people who were mad when fucking what's his name was taking his run at like the most home runs, that anytime anyone beat the Yankees, they're like, you're getting in the way of him setting a record. And everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So it's very much that.
Yeah. And I mean, even if this goes poorly, I'm like, I need to just get a read on this and try not to piss this guy off. That's where I'm playing. All right. One advantage.
Okay. So he said, yeah, I mean, I get that. That is true. That is, I mean, the thrill of the hunt is, it's unparalleled. And, you know, I don't know that I trust someone who clearly has never been hunting, and he kind of gestures to your outfit, to know what spice means. And so it seems to me that you really are just trying to ruin one of the best and most sacred parts of this competition. So, and then he clicks a button and one of the screens jumps to life, and you see Forrest Pollard holding Eli over the edge of the hunting reserve. He says, so here's what I'm kind of getting at. You say you have something spicy for me, and that sounds interesting. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of bored with my warden slipping in hurt animals for me to kill. They'd think I don't notice, but I am a true hunter at heart. I've been doing this a long time. So here's the fun thing. You can either give me something cool to do during this thing, because I thought I was going to have to sit this one out. But if you got something, that's interesting to me. So either you give me something spicy to do, or I'm going to drop your man in there and I'll either hunt him or collect him as a trophy. So you got to be straight with me. What do you got?
Yes, I understand. And as you say, I'm not going to win. This is not about winning for me. So if you would like to take our prize and win at the hunt.
What's the prize?
It's something that was beneath Bolensong Manor.
And he's like, looks at you, he's like, wine? You're going to hunt wine? Dusty tomes?
It is a very, very old vintage.
A fucking old vintage wine? Or wait, or are you talking like a mummy? What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? And he just goes over, you see him open a little drawer and just sniff a line out of it and then close it. And he turns back and says, what are we talking about here? What kind of vintage? How old? Why would I hunt that? How am I going to shoot wine?
Do you want to know what it is ahead of time, or wouldn't the surprise be worth waiting for?
If it's a fucking vole or something, then I'm going to be really upset.
I understand.
If it is the corpse of like Guinevere's great uncle or something, I don't care. I knew that guy and he sucked. So no, I need some assurance that this isn't going to make me look like an asshole. Because look, I'm not supposed to be down there. It's all supposed to be about my stupid nephew and a lot of fucking romance shit. And I'm not allowed to participate. So I'm just saying, if there's something that's not supposed to be in there and I can go hunt it on the down low on the most important hunt day of the fucking season, that would be pretty great for me. And I would be into that. So into it that I might not just have you and your friend killed.
I would appreciate that.
I figured you might.
Yes.
So what is it?
It is a long, long lost brother of your Forest Pollard.
Oh, fuck.
Does that interest you, King?
You know he will kill you. Actually, hang on. And he just reaches into his desk, pulls out a las pistol, and turns around and just shoots both the guards. And then sits back down. He says, tapping the gun against his head, he's like, so that, like, he's gonna...
I'm glad that you had him leave, but...
Yeah, no, you understand. You don't fuck with Space Marines, right?
You don't fuck with them unless they are fallen ones.
He's not a fallen... Are you... This is heretical nonsense. You think I'm going to be able to take down a Space Marine?
You don't need to do it. It is already done. You need only to claim the kill.
So wait, you've got a dead, fallen Space Marine. What does that even mean?
You'll have to open it up to find out.
Oh, shit. And it just opens the drawer and snorts another line. Attikus and Valentyne, you have arrived at the hunting grounds.
We have Pajama Man.
Yeah, you can. Do you want to play a little scene with picking up Pajama Man?
I'm fine with just picking up Pajama Man because it would just be like,
yeah.
Did they, like, you know, he gets in, he sees the bird, and he's like, okay, Toby, come with us. He's gonna go over to Toby and just like hold out like an arm for Toby to hop on. He's trying to think of stuff
Toby
he's seen.
responds to voice commands when it's not Morgan.
Okay, on. Okay, he climbs back in, and they just start driving. And he's like, so. Captain Rolls Vaughn left you?
Yeah, she asked me to guard the bird.
Excellent.
Did she say where she was going?
Well, no, her servant, Mr. Clarence, showed up in a carriage that seemed rather weighed down, and then they said they had to go off, and they seemed kind of confused about where they were going, and they certainly didn't tell me, but I would hope that they are going to find me some appropriate attire for the hunt, because as you can see, I'm not particularly camouflaged right now.
Well, unfortunately, they were supposed to find us a number of things.
So Clarence made it to Captain Rolls.
Correct. And then they continued on their journey. And apparently, Captain Rolls altered her orders. And the bird is here, which means... And he just looks Attikus in the eye and taps his pistol and his sword and says, decorative. And now we hunt.
Toby did get the weapons.
And she
Yeah, I
stowed
put
them
him
in the carriage. Because Toby was supposed to deliver them to the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But she kept the bird with void stain, so Valentyne is unarmed for the hunt.
Love
I
it.
don't
Love
know where
that.
they're supposed to go.
He said house. He said house
Say
in the
house?
orders.
Oh,
He
I
said
don't know.
house.
Yeah, sorry.
And
It's okay. He's just like, decorative.
Voidstain looks to both of you and says, well, I also have some concerns. The captain and I decided to form a bit of an alliance, with apologies to you, Lord Van Houten, but I lack your stunning physique and ability to crush things with my hand, and I didn't win the race. So she and I were going to team up to try and win the Duke's affection, and this means I will be on my own, which, as you can see, is not the complete package.
Well then, what say you to teaming up with me, seeing as to how Captain Rolls has seemingly abandoned you?
Respectfully, sir, I believe that our odds are worse if we team up, because I will make you look a lot worse. With Captain Rawls, she's pretty far behind, so we balance each other out, but...
So, hang on, what was your plan then?
Well, that she and I would woo the Duke, and then she can leave and go back on her space adventures, but,
I'm wooing the Duke.
Yeah, but presumably you're going to stay here and rule.
Yeah, I was going to say, the other thing is, Lord Voidstain's point is, between Rawls and Lord Voidstein, they'd both been, shall we say, underperforming.
That's correct. Overlooked.
Capable of so much, but overlooked during this race. You are not being overlooked. Teaming up with another candidate who perhaps would lower your standing and make your ultimate goal less likely to occur.
I also fear, with stature and face and physique like yours, that if we did indeed woo the Duke, he would probably just spend his time smooching you and not me, which is of concern. I wear my heart on my sleeve, good lord.
And that is very generous of you to say. Valentyne says, trying to keep Attikus away from walking down the smooch path, because that's just going to be a 20-minute carriage conversation he can't afford. Do you have any weapons, sir?
He looks at his hands. He says, well, I was trained in martial arts, but mostly my weapon lies in... And he twists his cane and reveals the blade on it. He says, remember this? I believe I tried to stab the captain with it. I trained with the sword, and I am aware of some techniques. It will not be great for the hunt, though. I was rather hoping to hunt with a rifle of some sort, but...
Excellent. And where your rifles were in your home, I assume?
Yes, and admittedly they were worse than the pistols, so perhaps I could ask Clarence for my pistols back.
Yes, perhaps. And Valentine's going to take a moment to think and be like, we have one working rifle currently.
Mm-hmm.
We have no weapons, and an old man who people are trying to assassinate. Well, I don't know how old he is.
He's not old. That's that. Perhaps
he's a young man with the spirit of a 70-year-old dog.
Correct.
So we have one working rifle. A young man with the spirit of a 67-year-old droopy dog inside him, wearing pajamas, who's unarmed and has snipers sitting on his property waiting to kill him after they burn down his house to frame him. I'm unarmed. We don't know where Eli or Morgan are. They have a dead Chaos Space Marine that is key to our success and winning over the king in favor of Attikus. They also have my weapons, which are highly illegal, in a carriage, and we don't know where. And we still have to go to the hunt. What a gift.
In these moments, traditionally, Ryan, Valentyne has had a song to carry people through. Is there a song he sings in the carriage to buoy the spirits of himself this time?
Singing a song is ultimately for others, but humming a song is for oneself. Emperor. Emperor.
Attikus, I know the enormity of this. Well, I mean, he just laid it all out. How's Attikus feeling in this?
Attikus
moment
is in a people carrier with his power fist and people with not enough weaponry to face insurmountable odds. He does this all the time. So that doesn't worry him. Failing the mission worries him. If that was all said out loud,
it was not. He would not make that
Oh,
face.
I thought you said it all.
That's what I
it would
wanted
be
to make
British
sure
if
of.
he said it aloud.
Yeah.
Right.
Just the last thing was, and we still have to go to a hunt.
Yeah.
That was
Fair,
all
fair,
that was
fair.
said
Okay,
aloud.
all right.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
does change Attikus' situation. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, wow, he's taking this really well.
Yeah, no. Attikus is thinking like,
Right, well then, give my rifle to Valentyne. I've got all righty over here. And, well, I thought maybe we needed to protect Voidstain, but no major loss there.
And this is the point, as he's humming to himself and thinking, Valentyne realizes what they need to do. And he stops the carriage for a moment. And he looks to Attikus. And he says, "Sir, might I make a suggestion?"
Yes.
Could you knock out Lord Voidstain for me?
What?
Lefty.
Turns out the way of the blade, not particularly great at defending against getting socked in the jaw. He's tired. He also didn't sleep. He goes down easier than that warden. He's not liquored up and fresh. So just quick punch in the face. And I think it is like one of those like movie things where like the camera perspective shifts to your fist. So just like bashes in and he just like falls backward into the chair, bounces off the chair, bangs his head off the bench and is down.
Sorry, sir.
No, that's fine.
I thought I was pulling that.
You pulled it just enough. And he's going to basically rip down some upholstery. And he's going to tie Voidstain's hands and feet and just hog tie the man. And then he's going to gag him. And then he's just going to haul him out of the carriage and back into the woods in a ditch. And he's going to take Toby. And he's going to go and put Toby on top of him inside the ditch and say, "Stay." And then he's going to remember where this is so they can pick him up later. But now they can go to a hunt and not have to supervise an idiot in pajamas with no weapons. Frankly, he just gets to be out of the competition. Valentyne may need to trade him or murder him, but he's not going to be our fucking problem when everything else is already a shit fest. Now it's just Attikus and Valentyne. So he's hidden. He can't move even if he wakes up and he can't make any sounds. Time to go to a hunt. Valentyne sits back down and his humming now is so legitimately cheerful.
Attikus hands his rifle over to you.
Excellent. You may actually need to carry this, sir, once we arrive.
Oh, I thought maybe you, as my second, could carry my gun for me.
I will carry it for you, and when we reach a creature that needs to be hunted, I can hand it over.
Well, all right, doesn't seem quite that much fun.
And then he, like, lifts his daredevil thing and throws you a wink.
Oh.
Lowers it back down.
And I'll say,
oh, yeah.
Now we're going to a hunt, baby.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features the voices of players Ryan LaPlante, Tyler Hewitt, Laura Hamstra, and Del Borovic, alongside Game Master Tom McGee. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com. That's DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ad breaks use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR. All of their music is available at freemusicarchive.org. For all things Dum Dums and Dice, including merchandise and how to join our Patreon, you can visit dumdumdice.com or find us on social media at dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christopher Little, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Madre de Gatos, Lady Maiden, Garbo Ape, Locke, Sam Schaefer, Waffle Marine, Dagger Rain, Rob L, Dia De Los Hoodless, Squishy Werewolf, Remy Funky Head, Nomad, the Wise Paladin of the Badlands, Accent Therapeutic Services in Florence, Kentucky, Lael, Shulzari, Gus Schreider, The Long Family, Jordan Oliver, Richard Wright, Brittany Fenwick, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.